out the signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California won the big game. 5 seconds left in the game. You believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnham.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Bank, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
Rick Watson's got the mic, he's the big dog king. Cover sports so sharp, it's a new river thing. Virginia Tech fire, rapid pride too. Every stat, every play, he's bringing it to you. He's got that voice, deep as the valley, breaking it down, no dilly, no dally. Big dog sports talk, feel the bark. Got the scoop, faster than a sprint, calling plays like a coach, every word's a hint. From the courts to the fields, the stories unfold. Rick's play-by-play, worth its weight in gold. With a laugh and a growl, he'll pull you in. Big Dog's podcast, let the games begin. Big Dog Sports Talk, feel the bark, feel the bite.
Hey, good morning. It is a Thursday here on the program. There's Selma being very excited that it's Thursday, one day away from Friday. Hope everybody's doing okay, wherever you might be. Hit us up in the McClellan Chiropractic chat room and on the Professional Door Incorporated text line 391-0788. Coach Elmo, we're going to give it a shot again with Coach this morning. We did some testing last night. Andy Bitter from Tech Sideline. I didn't reach out to Alex because it got too late, and I know they were traveling yesterday. Maybe Alex Quare today. Baseball's on the road. We'll see. And Donnie Lynn, because Dwight Vick reached out to me yesterday. He's got a meeting with a client this morning, so that's much more important. So we'll have him back next week. Yeah, that is a pretty nifty groove, isn't it? Yeah, please like, subscribe, share our channel content wherever you might be. Good morning, Stephen. Good morning, Vic. Good morning, Prometheus. Yeah, back to winter indeed. So here we are. We tried to, provide a little bit of forewarning over the last couple of days, but right now it is May the 14th. And this morning outside of the Family Fencing Studios, it is 44 degrees. Feels like 37 degrees. High today, 53 degrees. Warmer tomorrow. Looks like a nice weekend at least. And then 80s next week. But yeah, every bit of it. Every bit of it. Not ideal. Just not ideal. But I hope everybody's doing okay. Let's get caught up. Vic. We love Vic. Vic is great. By the way, Vic's been such a great addition to our chat. Gets me caught up in case I've fallen asleep. Yeah, and I would say, again, those numbers, Vic, I know those numbers, I don't believe those numbers, but the fact of it is correct that the SEC and the Big Ten are going to own most of the rosters. Yeah. I don't know the numbers. We've been talking about this. Nobody knows the numbers. I don't know. People are just throwing numbers out there, pulling it out of their ass. Yeah, the ACC and Big Ten have both came forward for 24 teams. Of course, the SEC is going to come forward. And, of course, Disney and ESPN is acting like they're really butthurt over it all because they don't want to lose all the exclusivity of it, right? So transparent. Yeah, 9 games this year outside the U.S. as they announced last night. David Smith on vacation, and we would talk about all this. The league is pushing and pushing for more international dollars. And eventually, folks, we're going to have – I think the league is going to jump the shark as soon as they announce at some point an international Super Bowl. Yep. What's up, T-Bird? No frost here. Last cold night should be tonight. Yeah. Good. See, T-Bird knows. He's very wise. He's going to plant tomorrow. Yep. Just a hobby, Harshu. Sorry, I don't like to get names wrong. My apologies. I wish you would have cars. That'd have been great. Thank you, but no. Good stuff. But we'll have all those folks on, and I think we've gotten Coach Elmo figured out. Although he still does not have his computer issue worked out. All right, we still do not have all that done. So any of it. There we go. Make sure we're good to go here. So the studio this morning was a little funky. It had an update that it was kind of forcing into existence. So I had to update that. And I'm glad I did. Glad that I did. Because it wasn't necessarily functional. But it came back up, about 10 minutes ago. So I think we're good to go. And think about it. It's one of those things, you get these updates. You don't notice it. You don't see anything. I guess it's just something internally. Like when they update our phones constantly, putting more spyware on our phones so they can find out exactly what we're doing. That's all those Apple updates are, by the way. More ways to figure out a way to spy and know exactly what we're doing. By the way, this is our landmark episode 175. How about that? Episode 175 here on the program here today. Thank you. We did not see that coming.
Oh, my. Oh, no. Oh, no. That was out of nowhere.
Yeah. Family Fencing, the sponsor of our studios, 540-200-8294. Get a free quote from them today, familyfencingnrv.com. They're going to be liking to see the warm weather, as T-Bird told us. McClellan Chiropractic. Mark Hundley, 155 Walters Drive. His chat room goes nuts every day. Great stuff. Go see Mark if you're walking like a question mark. We're presented each and every day, Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Thanks so much. Great to talk to Tim Miller earlier this week. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg. Thanks to Charles Lee. Reach out to them, 540-553-2971. Our BDST fan question of the week is absolutely blown up, and it has set a new record. I'm going to have to spend the evening counting all these up. We got a couple close races for your all-time favorite sports movie. 701 West Main Street in Radford. The poll will stay open throughout the afternoon. I will cut it off tonight at about 6 o'clock. I bet we had over 100 text messages on the professional door text line come through just with movies. It's great. National Bank member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of BDST, and yours truly. I refinanced down here with Jamie in the Radford branch. Smooth as silk. Go see them if you have any questions. They're awesome. I mentioned Professional Door Incorporated, residential commercial garage doors, family owned and operated, 38 years in business. Travis Williams is an unbelievable dude, but he's a great businessman, but a better dude. They are now a regional business, keeping up what his dad built up. ReadySetFund.com. That's Bob Christ, BOBCRST11 at Gmail. Series of text messages for you, your organization, your sports team, whatever it might be, to raise money. Sundown Electric, the Smith Brothers, one of the best reputations of any business in the hood. Satisfied clients, you don't see a negative review. They are very honest about the work, the cost, what they have to do, how much time they'll take at your place. Reach out to Sundown Electric. The NRB Super Bowl's done it for 25 years, 540-382-5525. Call and reserve your lanes for the weekend and tell them how much you appreciate the They've done a lot of revamping in there, man. It is like an amusement park. It is so, so cool. And Lawson's Mobile Home Supply, give James a call, 540-381-8011, located at 300 North Franklin Street in Christiansburg. Parts for your windows, plumbing, everything you need for your home. And Brandon at Top Shelf Apparel in Pulaski. It's good stuff. Good stuff. From the links of the PGA Major Championship here at Palm Harbor Golf. Of course, I'm going to play today as a Buccaneer in a pirate ship. Oh, I know Morris is happy. He gets to play golf today. How cool is that, man? Hey, there you go. I got family fencing, a chain link fence job yesterday. My buddy was looking. All right, see? The community helping each other. Good stuff. Thanks, Prometheus. You the man. You are the man. Prometheus, I need to reach out to you if you know anybody who does like the driveway paving that doesn't cost $90,000. Let me know. I got a couple quotes, and I was just like, really? Oh, thanks, Vic. Balboa Creed is he's good. Stubborn as always. Actually stayed in last night with me. He wanted to sleep with me, and then he went out this morning and just came in a little while ago. So we may not be interrupted. He'll want back out, though. He's not going to like the weather. He's going to go, why is it cold? It was so nice yesterday. Hey, what are we doing? Yep. So in any event, there we go. Please subscribe, like, and share the channel wherever you might be. I don't know. Brad said, what about Jen tomorrow? Is she going to join you from Vegas? I haven't heard. I want to think today is her travel day, so we'll find out. I have not gotten an update. We'll see. I'm not going to hold my breath because, depends on what they get into tonight leading into tomorrow. Or actually, I think their travel day was yesterday because didn't she say it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and they're coming back Sunday? My driver club has gotten a lot better since I started envisioning Seth Greenberg's face on the golf ball. Be careful because if you hit a good shot and lands on the green, he's going to demand $500. You'll get a bill from his lawyer. Hey, by the way, I saw you hit the green in 2. That'll be $500. Self-awareness. Great. So Disney's upset. ESPN's upset. They came forward yesterday, even though Jim Phillips is just gushing about the 2014 playoff. We'll talk to Andy Bitter about it. Mario Cristobal was the only one, or at least he was very vocal against the 2014 playoffs. We'll talk to Andy about all that. Yeah, I'm just saying, Morris, be ready. Yeah, Vic, I am looking into that. I am looking into expanding it. I'm not great at that stuff. Maybe I can utilize your assistance at some point when we're not doing the show. Yeah, I would like to expand it and see what all that would entail. Don't know if an Instagram thing would be good or not. Rumble, people tell me Rumble's pretty good. So yeah, so maybe I will do that. Maybe I will do that. But we're getting there. We're getting there. As we get into the slower months and there's nothing game wise at Radford, I want to take a look at that stuff. But I think, we're crushing all the views, all the metrics. It made me feel really good because you probably read the story. YouTube went on a massive channel deletion. I think a lot of it is a response to AI, and people are putting a lot of that on their content and they're trying to fight it. I don't know the reasoning why, but I saw that they deleted upwards of about 10 million channels worldwide. Yeah. A lot of them were just advertisement channels and they got rid of those. Like you just had ads running, promotional things about cruises or vacations and all that. So we survived. So I guess we're doing something right. But yeah, I think along those lines, Vic, just for protection too, right? If something happens here, boom, it's still somewhere else. So I am going to look into that before we get into year 2 and before we tell you about the 2 big announcements. So yeah, we got all that coming up. So we'll get into all of that. But I would like to. Expansion is good. The things we have coming up on the show are good. Things are progressing. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I mean, you always are going to need more sponsors. I need, got to keep sponsors that I have. I need more sponsorship. This studio, I got to notice, is going to get more expensive. There are things I need to add to it that are very expensive. So I need to be able to have the ability to purchase those things, to enhance it, to get it out to other places, and to do more things here on the format. So there you go. There you go. A country boy can survive indeed, Morris. Absolutely. Absolutely. So last night we tested Coach Elmo's computer and it's still not working. The microphone sounds really bad. And I don't know why, especially if the guy that he got it from supposedly adjusted it, but it sounds faulty at this point. I'm not sure that microphone in that computer works. Maybe it does. But we're going to go by phone this morning with Coach Elmo. And we did last night and it worked just fine. So, and it's Wade Dwight. A lot of times we'll go to phone, so it is what it is. But I do find it humorous that ESPN's stomping its feet. They've had full run of the college football playoff for the most part, and they dictate so much. It's really the only credibility that they have sports-wise are the games that they show, especially in college football. And they know that if this thing goes to 24 and new contracts are going to be negotiated, it's going to involve the other networks at a greater capacity. It's going to take the focus away from them, and they don't like it. You can skin a buck, you can run a trout line. Rick Watson can survive. We'll see. We'll see, Morris. We'll see. I hope you're right. I can do each of the other 2 things. Yeah, we butchered growing up on the farm. I mean, I know people don't like to talk about it today. You might upset someone, but we butchered our own stuff most of the time, a lot of the time. Hogs and cattle. Yup. It is, as they say, what it tis. Sure thing, P. Diddy. That's pretty funny. We've been talking about that, Vic. So the World Cup is going to transport grass to these NFL stadiums that are going to be hosting games. And the Players Union has actually spoken up. We're going to talk about that. I think artificial turf, this plastic crap, is on its way out in the NFL. And I hope that's the case. And I think this World Cup situation is going to be the final straw because these players are paying attention. They've done the studies in soccer. The European, you watch the EPL. One of the most beautiful things about watching international soccer is the beautiful big green grass fields. They all play on grass, and they do that for a reason. They've done the studies. They realize how much it supports so much better than the turf. And the players have brought it up. They did a poll. It's a huge number. And I think eventually that's going to become a sticking point. And if you really care about the players and what they want, you care about their health and you care about their longevity, grass will be the way to go. Yeah, I know, Prometheus, and that's it's what it is. It's trickling down from the NFL to colleges. Like, Todd came right out and told us on Monday, right? Todd said, we have a plastic field and I hate it. And, I understand it if you want to do that to your baseball and your softball fields. I get that. But football in particular is not made to be played on that stuff. It's just not. I feel the need for greed. Yeah, he's in. I think he's asleep now. He's already been very active this morning. He starts early. He's just a hellion. Maybe if he comes in here, we'll get him on camera. All right. Joining us now on the program, I believe we're good to go. Is that gentleman? See there? Look at him. Fair Panthers t-shirt and everything else. Look, Coach Elmo, what's going on? Good morning.
Hey, we finally got something working.
Hey, we did.
Jeez.
Hey, how happy are you with your computer salesman right now?
Oh, I'm gonna tell you, I'm ready to throw it right into the canal that I'm living off of, the intercoastal. I had 3 years computer and died. 3 years.
Yeah.
So I had to get a new one, and they put a man on the moon, but we couldn't connect with you with this computer.
No. I got to be honest. After listening last night when we were testing again, I think that's faulty. It sounds faulty to me. I don't think that's a setting. It just doesn't sound right to me.
No, it's something. I'm gonna I'm gonna see him at 10 o'clock today and see if I can get it straight. But we'll see.
Well, we got you now, Coach, and let's go back. It was just about a week ago. We showed up over there at the Blacksburg Sports Club, and of course. As you always do, you just came in and stole the show. I loved it.
I didn't steal no show, I can tell you that. But it was fun. I wasn't sure, funny when I talked to you about going, because I really did want to hear Bud and see Mike Burnup if Mike was going to be up there and meet you. So there was a little trifecta there. But then I started having some reservations. I'm going, I don't know this. But I'm glad I did it. I really am. I saw people I hadn't seen in a long, long time. Dave Christ, football coach over there at Blacksburg High, and who I've always had a wonderful relation with.
Yeah, he looked great. I love catching up with him and Faye. Yeah, his wife. Yeah.
Faye, I mean, you talk about first-class people.
Oh my gosh.
You go to certain high schools recruiting, because I used to recruit Southwest Virginia when I was at UVA. Signed a couple of kids out of Salem. Signed one kid out of Salem High. David Sweeney, fullback for UVA years ago. And then I used to go up to the New River Valley for him, and really enjoyed it. I love, whether Willis White at Salem High or Dave Christ at Blacksburg or Joel Hicks at Pulaski. those coaches, I hope that the college coaches can appreciate the high school coaches as I did, I know, and my generation of coaches did. We really appreciated the high school coaches and always had an admiration. I always felt like they were the best teachers, because a lot of them had to teach.
Yeah, that's
teach
right.
a class, teach whether it was driver ed or like Dennis Kozlowski, who passed away at Bethel High. He was an English teacher and an excellent teacher. And, so it's not surprising he won football state championships, and he was a great track coach. And that was the other thing. These guys, a lot of them did some multiple sports and coaching. And so that was great seeing Dave. And but it was fun. I had a play. And then Dave Brain that was surprising. I wasn't even thinking about that he would show up.
And it was great. Yeah.
It was great seeing him. I'm telling you, I do hope. I mentioned this on Greg's the radio show WFIR with Greg Roberts Live. I'm sure people, as time goes by, will start to get forgotten. But I'm telling you, you think about it. There's not one person that did not want Frank Beamer to get fired. I think you concur with that. Not
100%. Yeah, I remember that.
You lived it, and but there was one, and that was Dave Brain. And I remember Dave. A couple of years ago, I went up. We had a breakfast together. I wanted to see him, and I asked him, because I never asked him this before. I said, Dave, how did this work out? How did this decision come to fruition for you? Because you talk about balls the size of a beach ball now. I mean, it's just a decision that was. He said, Phil, he goes, after the 91 season, I thought the 92 season would become a crossroads. So, he didn't get involved. He was like a ghost. He'd sit in the back and in the meetings and is, very stealth-like, and then would go to practice, and all year, the whole, from preseason to the fall, he would take his time to evaluate, because he was a hell of a coach. I mean, he coached at Richmond when I was playing at William & Mary. He was, I think, the defensive back coach for Frank Jones when they won the Southern Conference and went to the Tangerine Bowl. And of course, he coached with Dick Beswick at UVA. And it was funny. Jim West, the assistant athletic director, I'll digress a little bit, came up, and this is the story he's telling me about how all these things came about. And he said, Jim West said, hey, you want to be an assistant athletic director? And I got to know today. Jim West saw potential in Dave in administration, as well as, being a heck of a football coach. And Dave said, yeah, okay, we'll do it. And then next thing you know, it takes off. So he's got to make this decision. And I told him, I said, I don't think there's an athletic director. If I was an athletic director today, and I don't care about NIL portal, I don't care. It's all about wins and losses. If I'm an athletic director today and I had to make a decision, or I'm a year away from potentially making the decision on a football coach, I'm calling Dave Brain. What did you see? What and how and why?
Yes. Yeah.
Rick?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Why were you the only one? Yeah.
Why? I mean, and at that time, like even Bud Foster said, committees? What committee? You got an athletic director, he's getting paid. There's a reason why he's there, and between the president or the provost or whatever, and maybe one assistant athletic director, but don't forget the definition of an expert. The guy's 50 miles away from your office. You got the guy right there. But Dave had a football background. He knew what coaches he worked for and worked with some outstanding coaches. He knew what it was supposed to look like, just like in recruiting. When you watch a player, you know what it's supposed to look like with your experience. So thank God Dave Brain was there at the right time. And don't forget, that was at a time nobody really wanted the job, even as AD. Dutch Bachman took the job. He lasted 2 or 3 months. You know, they fired Coach Dooley, and it was a disaster there in '87.
It was.
So, you know, fast forward, he's going to make a decision, and he made it. And I'm telling you, where do you think Virginia Tech would be without that decision today?
Yeah, who knows who would have come in there? Right. I can't even imagine who might have taken that job. I know they wouldn't have had the kind of success that it ended
27 years later, 27 years, Coach Beamer.
Right.
You know, they fired Jerry Claiborne. He had the winningest record at Virginia Tech and fired him. They fired Bill Dooley. He had the winningest record and went to bowls and put him on TV, even though they were an independent at the time. You know, now there are other issues administratively, him being the athletic director, so there was a conflict. I get that, you know, but the decision that Dave made to this day, I marvel. And you talk about guts, but he, you know, he did it in a way of okay, I don't need to have a committee. I was a football coach. I get this. We got the right guy. He's always said. Told the president, we have the right guy. We just got to get him some help. And it was a perfect storm. And next thing you know, from 93 to whenever Frank retired, what a run. And
the rest is history, as they say. The rest is history.
There'll never be another one like it. So I've always been a Dave Brain fan just because of how he did it, what he did. And let me tell you, season tickets, there was almost non-existent. They had no money. They were broke. You talk about money today. Let me tell you, you got no idea. You got no clue about money. There was nothing. Todd Grant was making $30,000 a year. That's all he could pay the D-line coach, 30, 35. Brian Steinspring, low 30s. I made 60 as a D coordinator, took a cut and pay from Syracuse to take the job. As an assistant coach to D coordinator. Now the coordinators are making $1.5 to $2 million. And not that I care. I wouldn't know what to do with that money anyway.
Yeah, right.
There's a reason why God made
you'd buy a better computer. I know that. Hey, what did it mean? I thought one of the best moments was, Coach Foster's up there with Mike, and Bud Foster wanted to make sure you got your flowers. It was great. You see the sincerity. How cool. What did that mean to you to hear Coach Foster talk about how vital you were and are to him to this day as a coach and as a person? That was cool.
I've always abused him. Well, why'd you leave Virginia Tech? I said, so Bud could have his career, because I knew he'd be a better coach than I was. That's for sure. You know, I always learned. You know, Coach Holtz had a great saying. He said, Moses died leaning on his staff, and the same will be said about Lou Holtz. And, you know, as a D coordinator, you're going to be as good as your defensive staff is. And it comes down because it's not only about coaching on the field. Like I've always said, Rick, coaching's a twofold thing, and this goes hand in hand. You can't have one above the other. It's coaching, it's teaching, and then it's evaluating. And you're trusting your assistants, and they got to be truth tellers in their evaluations. Because, you know, I was a position coach, I was coaching the defensive backs, and then we'd get together and of course I'd watch the film and I got to watch every player, but he was a great evaluator. I mean, all of a sudden we moved Ken as a linebacker coach. We moved Ken Brown from outside to inside. We elevated George Del Rico. Dwayne Knight was a former wide receiver recruit that ended up being an outside backer. We kept him as an outside linebacker, and he did a great job coaching these kids. And he was really special. He was a great, loyal to the 100th degree. You talk about Frank Beamer loyalty qualities. Well, Bud coached at Murray State, and I think he played for Frank, but coached with him, I know, at Murray State, but the loyalty really did trickle down. But Bud, when he started throwing some, as you say, some flowers my way, I wasn't shocked. I was really taken aback. It was like, wow, that meant a lot. Because it was from his heart. One thing about Bud's very passionate. a very passionate person, as you saw it when he was speaking to that crowd. What a great ambassador for Virginia Tech. There's no better ambassador for Virginia Tech than Bud Foster right now.
You couldn't have a more perfect guy in that role as a
Honest
special
to God,
assistant.
and he's embraced it. And I never realized, when he was the linebacker coach, he didn't say a whole lot. He was very, even on the field, you didn't hear him that much. That, of course, you heard me, but he was but the role he has embraced, it's the best thing Virginia Tech has done right now. One of the better things. James Franklin better be counting his blessings. He's got him as his ambassador for him and Virginia Tech. But
well, wasn't that interesting the way Coach talked about that? He was very honest. He didn't like the whole committee thing to begin with. You could kind of tell, it was way too many. But then what did he say, right? When James Franklin got close to making a decision through the whole process, who did he reach out to all three times? One guy, Bud Foster. Every call. Yep.
And Brent Pry. Brent Pry had a lot, I'm sure, Now, whether Brent was trying to save his own ass.
Yeah, probably
was. I want you here, then you can hire me back.
Yep.
I know that's not the case. I know that. I know Brent. Brent's not going to do it.
You never know.
But Brent, and Bud and Brent had as much to do with him taking this job with a positive light, because it's Virginia Tech's job. It's just outside of the money and all the crap with the money and NIL and portal. I'd take the Virginia Tech job over LSU job. Not
100%. That's a circus down there. Yeah.
Between 3 and 5 years, Lane Kiffin is going to be fired. Okay.
There's no question. Yeah.
I'm not a betting man, but I got a chance to win that one. I'm throwing a check. I'll throw a couple of hundred on it.
Florida and LSU, those jobs are they're not even real jobs. It's just, it's not even, I don't know what it is. Those fan bases.
Brian Kelly had no idea what he was getting into. Lane kind of does, but
Lane does. Yeah, he knows what he's getting into.
He knows what he's getting into, but how about the stupid comment he made about Ole Miss and the grandparents?
Yeah. What was that?
Let me tell you what. I coached at LSU.
Yeah.
There's grandparents of black families. I don't care if it's Tuscaloosa, Baton Rouge, Knoxville, Starkville, Oxford. They have that feeling. When we were at LSU, it was a stigma, especially south of Alexandria. You get into New Orleans. Baton Rouge, LSU was with the black families in South Louisiana, the old family, the grandparents. It wasn't very popular. We had to overcome it. It had to be to a point to address, and Nick did a great job with that. A great job, because and dealing with parents and grandparents in South Louisiana, and we did, and that was one thing that had to be overcome. So he's full of crap. That was so self-centered on his part, taking Oxford, Mississippi, and telling him he had issues with recruiting, but not at LSU. Boom.
Yeah.
Same issues at LSU. Trust me. And you know what? When you look at the kids we signed at LSU, especially from South Louisiana, Michael Clayton, Marcus Spears. We had Nick he had great players there. Great players. Nobody's more Ryan Clark. Nobody's more loyal to LSU than those guys. I promise you. But that first class we brought in at LSU, they're as loyal to LSU as anybody is going to want to be. So he's full of crap. Pulling that one out. It's typical of Lane Kiffin.
No.
Typical.
He's altogether unlikable. I'm just going to say it the way it is. There's nothing really you ever see of him. You think, hey, there's a good dude. No.
You talk about a grenade because he's trying to enhance the recruiting at LSU. That's all it was, and I'm talking back in the 2000 at Baton Rouge when Nick had a deal with that. grandparents. Baton Rouge is not a popular place, believe it or not.
What do you think Nick Saban saw in him for the court? What do you think? How do you think he was able to withstand Lane Kiffin as long as he did?
Well, he didn't. He really ended up firing him.
He did.
But it was if you look at Sark, you look at Kiffin, you look at Locks, was the head coach at Maryland. It's all
Loxley,
a rehab.
yeah.
It's all a rehab. There's not an offensive coach that doesn't go and work under him that finally sees the light about what this game of football is all about. It's not about their statistics and their offense. And nickel. I mean, I'll tell you, Jimbo Fisher, I mean, I got my butt chewed a lot, but let me tell you, the offensive coordinator on game day, it's not pretty. It is not pretty. Because he sees the game in the big picture of everything, not the tunnel vision some offensive coordinators have. A lot of them have tunnel vision, and not with him. Not with him. And,
at least Sark seems like a pretty good dude. He seems pretty down to earth. Yeah,
he's totally rehab in his whole life.
Yeah, sounds like it. Yeah.
This guy said, I mean, look at the back. Hey, in order to predict the future, look at the past. Now, he did a heck of a job at Ole Miss. He did a great job at Ole Miss. And Ole Miss saved his butt. Saved him in terms of getting him back into the limelight and getting the LSU job. And he's going to pull that crap on Ole Miss? That's an insult to the players that are there.
I know.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
It's almost a waste of time to talk about. Sorry to bring that up, but you were,
No, it's interesting. I think people.
I think Virginia Tech's a whole lot better job than LSU. I really do.
Yeah, pound for pound, I agree. Pound for pound, I agree. When you look at all the personal things and what he's going to have to deal with, and the atmosphere down there, the governors, the way the governor, I mean, that whole thing was weird. Yeah, 100%.
They fired every football coach they've ever had except Harnsbarger, who took the AD's job at Florida, and Nick. They fired Charlie McClendon. Charlie Mack, they fired him. They fired Mike Archer. They fired Jerry Stovall. And these guys had a 10 or 11 win season in their resume.
That's right.
They signed their first or second year at LSU. They fired Miles. Miles got fired because he started losing. One of the reasons Nick was going into West Monroe, Louisiana, and getting players. That was not the reason. Les Miles is a little bit of a buffoon too, but he won a national championship there.
He did.
And he got fired. Jerry DiNardo had 10-win season, beat Florida when they were number one. He was the cock of the walk in LSU. And 2 years later, he gets fired. It's always 2 years later after a 10-win season. 2 years later. And the last head coach that won the national championship, Ed Orgeron. I mean, they fired him. So it's not a good job. However you define good job. Now, if you base it on money and fan support and the bells and whistles, you go, oh man, LSU, Tiger Stadium. All right, great.
Exactly.
Listen, if he loses to Ole Miss in that opener in Oxford, let me tell you what, Coach, I promise you.
Oh my goodness.
Nick Saban lost to Ole Miss 2 years in a row. And let me tell you what, whoever they are, wanted his ass fired. Trust me, that is a money game for the money people, okay? The bettors. And you lose to Ole Miss, and for whatever reason, I don't know if it's the Billy Cannon days, but the Ole Miss LSU is a very hidden rivalry.
Yeah, it really is. It was sparked by Billy Cannon because he was supposed to go to Mississippi. Yeah.
And I tell you, we beat Ole Miss in Oxford when I was there. Manny was the quarterback. His brother was the quarterback, and Cutcliffe was the head coach. And they had a hell of a football team. They had talent. And Nick, when we looked at the players, when Nick was watching all the SEC teams, he told me, he said, the most physical team in the SEC is Ole Miss. with Cutcliffe running the power.
David Cutcliffe was a hell of a coach.
Great coach. No,
David Cutcliffe was a hell of a football coach.
Because he wouldn't cheat.
I know. He had morals. He talks about that. Yeah.
That's exactly why he got fired there. He got, because the state of Mississippi back in the day, it was like there were no rules. None.
No.
Trust me, I recruited in North Mississippi. You go to South Panola High School, there's a Goodyear distributorship center, and he's an Ole Miss grad, and any player from South Panola, mom and daddy are getting jobs, big time jobs.
Oh yeah.
So the SEC, they talk about the Big Ten now is overtaking the SEC. Let me tell you, you watch this year, they go, nobody did it better than the SEC before NIL. It was bankers and lawyers and car dealers. Now it's got to be tech people and oil money. That's all.
That's all. Yeah, got to find the oil money. Yeah.
Got to find the technological people. And the SEC, don't you worry about it. They'll be all right.
I want to ask you. I saw Brian Kelly came out a couple of days ago and said he's getting updated on all the analytical stuff. He wants to be fully prepared for his next head coaching opportunity. Do you think Brian Kelly gets a decent chance to be a head coach one more time, or did he ruin all his goodwill with the way the whole LSU thing went down and some of the things that came out about his behavior down there?
To make that statement is kind of like it's like, what?
I know. That was weird. That was
like
weird.
Player asking me, I need more reps. What do you need more reps for? What are you going to do with one more that you didn't do? I said, what did you do with the reps you had?
That's right.
So Brian Kelly, you're going to be fully more prepared? Why don't we? Okay. So you weren't prepared at the LSU job, but you're the Notre Dame head coach.
Right. Notre Dame, LSU. I wasn't ready. Are
you serious? Are you serious? That is the dumbest statement I've never heard it. But now I know why he got fired.
It kind of leads into it, doesn't it? Yeah, it does.
I'm not so sure I would hire him. He wouldn't convince me he was prepared. You came from Notre Dame to LSU, and now you're ready for the next job because you're more prepared. Well, why weren't you prepared? My first question to him would be, why weren't you prepared for the LSU job?
I mean, you're at Notre Dame, for goodness sakes.
For 12 years. So it's not like he came from Cincinnati or Central Michigan to LSU.
Right.
So that's a waste of conversation. I appreciate you bringing it up, but let's move on to the next.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I thought that was very, very interesting how that was going to work out. But the Big Ten, this 2014 playoff, Coach, I got to get your thoughts on that. It's going to happen. The AFCA, they talked about it last week. They put it into motion, and then boom, here we are.
To me, if they can do, it's they got to do something with the bowls, and they got to, I think, they got to. The season's got to end. It's too long. I mean, by the end of January, you're playing your national championship game. So I don't, after a while, okay, 16, 24, who cares? Because you know what's going to be standing? The same old teams. Okay. And I know, Indiana screws that whole conversation up.
They did last year.
They really did. He screwed up college football so bad. And all the presidents and ADs, why can't we be like Indiana? Indiana did it, so he makes the typical comments of, hey, it's still going to come down to Georgia and Texas and A&M and Alabama and Ohio State. Well, how did Indiana do it? And they're right. It's like, okay, so 24, fine. If it's more money for those people that they could keep their sports and not drop sports, dropping sports is it's not good. It's not a good look.
No, it's happening all over now. It's now an epidemic. Yep. If you got a big time athletic department, you should be able to have 22, somewhere between 20 and 22. Now, Georgia Tech, I think, has only got like 18 or 19. Syracuse, that Jay Crouthamel, he only had 18 sports to deal with, where people were dealing with 22 to 25.
and he was always in the black, always. Season ticket sales, basketball had 27,000 season tickets at Syracuse when I was there. But the 24, after a while, you go, okay. So there's more games. But don't care. Like I always tell Greg, that's a WC. Who cares?
Well, they're estimating the expanded basketball tournament's going to make around $350 million extra money. Can you imagine doubling the college football field? What that could end up? That could get into billions.
You think? I told you, between Fox and ESPN, and I think CBS.
CBS will get involved, or NBC, yeah.
And then NBC's got the Notre Dame.
Got the Notre Dame, yep.
Okay, they're Notre Dame contract, and that's why Notre Dame will always be an independent. Always. Stupid to join a conference.
Makes no sense. Yeah.
But the ESPN, Fox, they just gotta. I mean, they gotta. What they gotta do, Rick, is they gotta go back and realign everything and not have these mega team conferences like 18 in the SEC or how many they have in the ACC now. What is it, 18 or 17 in the ACC? And they got to go back to regional. They got to go get the old Pac-12 again, then the Big 12, the ACC, and they have it go back to regional football and then, and have an NFL type format. Like I said, you got the Fox League and the ESPN League. And, and CBS can go have the group of 5 and take about 68 teams and, and have an 8-team division within about 6 conferences and have a regional. I mean, you're going to go from Blacksburg to California and to play tennis, let alone football.
Of all the expansions, Stanford and Cal to the ACC is the dumbest and most nonsensical desperation.
As a coach, listen, one thing about the SEC that people don't really realize, you got these small towns. When you play Auburn, you got to stay in Columbus, Georgia. And then you got to drive an hour to Auburn. Okay? You're flying out of Columbus. You're not flying into Auburn.
No.
So you're not getting in until 4:30 in the morning at a night game.
There's a lot of towns like that in the SEC. You're right.
Guess what? Your coaches, you ain't sleeping in. You got 8:30. You're in the office. I was in the office at 6:30. I get 2 hours of sleep. You go to Oxford, you can fly into Memphis,
right?
Or Tupelo, Mississippi. All these small towns, and you talk about the night games in the SEC on coaches. Oh my God, you're in sleep deprivation, especially the assistant coaches. At least I was.
Yeah.
I slept in the stadium for 6 straight weeks. That's fact.
It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense.
I was not going to waste 20 minutes or 30 minutes, an hour, getting in my car, driving someplace. I said, the heck with this. I'm sleeping here. So I was getting up at 4:30 in the morning and leaving the office at 12:30. And then you come back Sunday you get in Sunday morning. One time we flew in from Oxford. We're flying back into Baton Rouge, and the fog was so bad we had to go to New Orleans. So all of a sudden it's 6 o'clock. We're landing in New Orleans at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then bussing back up to Baton Rouge.
Bussing back up, yeah.
And we got to get ready for a game next week.
Not ideal. Not
People
ideal.
don't understand it. The SEC's, because of that, it's a tough road. It's tough on coaches, just through the travel itself, playing night games in the small towns, Starkville, Oxford, Tuscaloosa, Auburn. It's tough duty.
Well, Coach, it looks like at least we've got your situation solved until you get the computer updated. So this will work as long as we need to going forward.
Well, you know what? They got the phone working. The computer guy, because I remember we tried the phone last week and it didn't work.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He got the phone working, and I'm thinking, okay, you can get this phone working. This phone was free. That computer cost me $600 damn. I had a mechanical bypass. I mean, I got
Yes.
no clue.
You got no clue. Yeah.
I just start pressing buttons. I don't give a crap,
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to test everything, man. And
I appreciate your patience. I thought for sure I got fired.
No, you see, underneath your name has not been fired. See?
Hey, you know what? When you had Marty and Coach Rags on last week, what a great show. Marty struck a chord with me. You talk about a gift that old Southwest Virginia boy, and the gift he has for thought and putting thought into words and painting a picture. This guy does it as good as anybody. And when he made the comment about himself, about how his insecurities of failure, I went to myself, I go, bingo, that's me. That was me. I was always trying to, people ask me, why did you keep leaving jobs? And what Marty said, I go, okay, that was the reason.
Yeah.
He was great.
Yeah.
I could listen to him all day. And Coach Rags, you got no choice. You got to listen to him all day.
I know.
Anyway.
I love it, man. You learn so much. You learn so much.
Fantastic.
So
that's
good.
why I love your show, because it took me down memory lane with that, back when I was at Ferrum and still riding on 460, going parallel to the New River, going through Narrows and going up to Giles, and it was great.
Yeah, it was great.
Well, buddy, thank you for your.
Thank you, brother. No, I appreciate you, man. Great stuff. You have a good weekend.
We will. Take care, bud.
All right, man. There you go. There's Coach Elmo. Good to have him back. We missed him. David Smith will be back next week. He's on vacation. Dwight Vick will be back next week. He's got clients this morning. Of course, he works with people and their mental health. And, of course, that's going to take precedence over being here. So we'll have Dwight back next week. Yep. Great to have Coach Elmo. Good stuff. Yeah, I've mentioned that before. Maybe now that we're getting into summer, maybe that'd be a good topic to get into about how the SEC, the way it's constructed, it's a bunch of small towns. It's a bunch of ragged treks to get there, man. It's that's not a conference. It's in the middle of a lot of metropolises. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, 24 teams. The two reasons is money, lots of it. What they decide to do with it, I don't know. But the new TV deals are going to be unbelievable. And coaches are going to back this because they want to be able to go, hey, guess what? I had us in the playoff last year. There'll be agents that will construct their new contracts for their clients around that whole premise and all this stuff. So that's going to happen going forward. There's no question. No question. Yeah, Prometheus, you're right. I think Franklin he completely just wore out his welcome there. It was just a relationship that needed to end. I think when the video went viral, him attacking those fans after the spring game or during the spring game, when he went over and confronted fans, I think it was probably, I'm not going to excuse the behavior. That should never happen. But I think it probably told us that relationship was not going to be salvaged. Yeah, be my guess. All right, rolling along into hour number 2 with this gentleman. He is the lead writer for Tech Sideline, Andy Bader. What's up, AB? Good morning, man.
Good morning. How are you?
Hey, we're hanging in there, man. Getting toward the end of the week, I know. And how much longer does your daughter have in school? When's school out for the youngins?
Just over 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you're about there at the horizon, so that's good. That's very, very good.
There's a bigger milestone first. I have to grade my final papers today.
Grades
in by tomorrow, and I'll be free of that. I like doing it, but man, the grading is just so much. So I got to get that done by tomorrow.
Is that by far the worst part? I know it's what Bill tells us too with his SMA when he has to actually sit down and assign grades. Is that the worst? Is that the worst thing?
Yeah, I mean, I like doing the teaching. I like assigning stuff. I think it's exciting to do it. But then you get it, and you're like, oh man, there's 20 stories that I got to grade here, or 20 podcasts I got to listen to. Like a couple are fine, but when you get to 20, you're like, all right, I've had it by the end of this. So that's by far the worst. And then I hate assigning points at the end of it too. I just like teaching and doing the stuff rather than like saying how good it is or something like that.
What encourages you the most? I meant to ask you this before. You're there with young people, this generation that people say are so impossible to reach. What encourages you the most as you're sitting down and working with these kids to get them ready?
I think they're energetic. You know, you talk about journalism and you teach it, and it makes you want to go do journalism and like do it right. And I think sometimes when you've been doing it for a while, and unfortunately I've been doing it for a while, you get a little jaded. You can get a little bit tired of doing it and get lazy about it. But I think when you talk, like, you know, we did a mock press conference with Bud Foster, and like I talk about, you know, be energetic with your questions, you know, do your research on this stuff. Then I go to a different press conference and I'm like, well, now I've got to do all that stuff. I'll look like a hypocrite if I don't do all this stuff. So yeah, just talking about it makes you want to go out there and do really good stories and be a good journalist. So that's why I like doing the class. It kind of refreshes you and re-energizes you.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. 100%. What that's funny. I was going to ask you the same question. As you got started in this many years ago, had such a great career and you're so respected in your craft. Have you seen journalism change? What are the things that you don't like about what you've seen, the progression of what you do?
Well, I mean, this has been going on for a while. You don't like how everything is so clicks based. You know, like anybody could put something out there and it could not be researched or vetted. And then all of a sudden that becomes the truth, right?
Yeah.
And then you're trying to fight against that and be like, oh, I read somewhere that this happened. It's like, I know for a fact that it's not true because I spoke to the person
right.
That it is affecting, but you can't change people's minds because it's out there first. I think that's one of the biggest things. You know, it's like an example, like that ESPN story about Virginia Tech. Like John Bland is the big bad and he's holding this whole thing back. Like I thought that was poorly framed. I thought that was incorrect. I know for a fact some of that stuff. I know for a fact some of the behind the scenes of why that story was written and why it wasn't written a certain way. And I feel like it was just a bad story. But everybody looks at that story as the unvarnished truth about what happened at Virginia Tech. And I don't like, and now you have to push back against that. And like, oh, you're being a homer about this. It's like, no, I think I'm actually painting the correct picture about this, whereas that story wasn't. But you know, that's in the zeitgeist now. Like that's out there.
I know,
and treated as established fact, and I don't think it is. And it's tough to push back against that stuff.
Agreed. Truth is not necessarily the main goal anymore in reporting. It's about agenda and what you're right. You're right. Clicks, whatever it might be. It's turned into that far too often, and people will believe anything if they read it first.
Yes, that is very much true. People will believe anything that they say, especially when it's, it gets out on social media and like something I would tweet out looks exactly like what some crazy person would tweet out. They look exactly the same on the timeline. And so, I don't think media literacy is that great in this country. I think that could be a good class for people to understand how to differentiate between true sources and untrue ones. But that's sort of what you're fighting against.
100%. Well, who knew? I saw your tweet. Who knew that you'd be aligned with Mario Cristobal this morning, huh? Wow.
I mean, you kind of got to hand it to him right now. Like makes the title game, and now he's spitting the truth about this playoff. Like what can I say? I've been dogging this guy for years, but now I'm coming around on him. I agree with them. The playoff is just dumb. I see the ACC commissioner talking. We're leaving teams out that could win this whole thing. It's like, you know what?
Yeah.
You know what you need to adjust? You need to adjust the seeding. And we don't need two don't sue us teams. And that's what they had last year. They had Tulane and JMU. That's one too many. If you don't have JMU by some, crazy situation because the ACC couldn't pick its champion correctly. Notre Dame would have been in. That would have been the 11 seed. Tulane would have been the 12. We would have gone along our merrily along our way. We wouldn't have had this big controversy about it. Just pick the best 12 teams or the best 11 and the one don't sue us team from the group of 6 and have the tournament that way. And I don't like this 24 team deal, mostly because I don't want to see the conference championships go by the wayside, because I think if you take away those, you're not going to have conference champions, because these leagues are so big that you can't say, oh, they went 8-0 in the regular season. It's like, well, they didn't play half the league. So maybe it's got an easy schedule in this whole thing. And then, they might still have an easy schedule and win the championship game. But
that's a good point.
At least they were forced to play somebody else that was deemed to be at the top of the league at the end of the year. And second of all, I think a playoff, this notion that everybody that's deserving that needs to make the playoff, like, yes, when there were 4 teams, I think that was really a problem.
Yeah,
because there were teams that were ranked. When there were 2 teams, it was a problem because there was obviously 3rd and 4th ranked teams that deserved to be in. When there were 4 teams, it was still a problem, and it really made the sport bad. It was damaging for the sport because there was so much focus on that, and it was on the same 4 teams every single year. I think they've democratized the process now with 12 teams, but I don't think you just let everybody in, because I think it has to sting a little bit if you don't make it. I think that's what they're screwing up about the NCAA tournament is, when you're on the bubble and you don't get in, that hurts a little bit, but you still only have yourself to blame because you didn't win enough games to get in there. And I think that's going to be the same thing with this football tournament. Notre Dame, it stung last year that they didn't make it. Should have beaten Miami or Texas A&M at the beginning of the year. You had 2 chances to beat playoff teams, and you didn't do it. And that's why you're not in the tournament in this particular year. If you're the 25th ranked team and you don't get in the 24th spot, I think all the fans of that team would go, yeah, we're ranked 25th. We don't deserve to get in. So I feel like that's a problem. That is not, fans should be upset a little bit if they don't make a playoff like that. We've gone too far if you're giving birth to teams. They're like, we'll take it, but don't really feel like you should be in anything.
Yeah, that's a great point. I hadn't thought about that, but you're right. It's going to create a scenario if you get 5 or 6 teams deep in this 24-team playoff, which is what the SEC and the Big Ten wants all along. Yeah, how are you going to pick if somebody hasn't played a certain team? If you don't have a champion, how are you going to sift through that? I am surprised that everybody just seems to be okay with, hey, championship games, we don't need you. See ya.
Well, I mean, that's part of the problem now, is that all the focus has become on the playoff. And that's not what college football has been about forever. And if you only focus on the playoff, you're going to leave 130 teams disappointed by the end of every single year. There's other things to play for. A conference championship in college football should be a big deal. We got 4 banners at Lane Stadium of ACC championships.
Yeah, right.
For the Hokies, 3 more for the Big East. That is like a big deal for this program. And it's something that a program like Virginia Tech that has never won a national championship. And let's be honest, it would be pretty hard too. I think, Indiana opens up a world of possibilities for everybody, but it's tough to win a national championship in college football. There have to be other goals out there for a team. And for some reason we've gone away from thinking a conference championship or a division championship, if you have divisions, or 8, 9, 10 win seasons should be celebrated anymore, because you get to a playoff, you're like, well, we lost in the playoff, we didn't accomplish anything. No, there's things to accomplish out there. And, bowl games used to be an accomplishment, and I think they still can be considered that. They just have to. We just have to act like that's still something to get to a game at the end of the season and play in it.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I don't know. I'm so jaded, AB, toward the people leading college sports, that anytime they get all on board with something, you're just like, yeah, okay, what are we doing? It's none. You don't believe the process actually takes place in an honest and a well thought out environment, right?
Everybody's looking out for their own interest.
Yeah.
All the ACC coaches are all for 24 teams. Like, of course, because 90% of them aren't going to make a 12-team field. It's just the brutal truth. If you have to win the ACC or get an auto bid or be in the top 10 to guarantee your spot, how many teams do that on any sort of regular basis? It's a blue moon situation for a lot of these schools. Now, if you can say you can finish in 4th place in the ACC and get in, all of a sudden that sounds a lot more palatable. But I don't think the 4th place ACC team should be anywhere near a national championship tournament or anything deciding that. It's adding extra games. The TV networks don't want it because they don't want to pay more money for these games that aren't, you can call it the playoff, but it's not going to feel like the playoff. Like, the fans aren't stupid. They're going to understand 3rd and 5th place teams from different conferences playing. This isn't championship caliber football.
No.
And this isn't like basketball where, you can make a run. There's 3-point variance and, magical, little team little engine that could upsets these big teams. You just don't see that in college football. Maybe you see it in a one-off, but you don't see somebody like that win 4 or 5 games in a row to get to the championship. It's just not something that happens in the sport.
And I can remember the company line for years, going back to Mario Cristobal, was, hey, we don't want to water down the regular season, right? Why was there no playoff? And then the BCS came, and we don't want to do anything else to take away the college football regular season. So unique. Well, Mario Cristobal addressed that too, didn't he? What about our regular season? Is it really that important if we're doing this? I mean, I thought it was refreshing to hear a coach say that. Like you mentioned, just playing the national title. So, he's gotten there.
Yeah, and I'm not a big backer of this is you're going to ruin the regular season type thing, but I do think there is like a Goldilocks zone here. People talk about, this is what you expansionists get when you wanted to go past 2 and past 4. It's like, no, those were bad numbers for the playoff because it was too exclusive. And you had to recruit at this absurd level to be able to compete or be considered by the committee, honestly, to give the benefit of the doubt to Alabama every single year. And if you're a Baylor or TCU, they really look down on you because you don't recruit at that level. People like Kirk Herbstreit stumping for Ohio State and Alabama all the time to get into this exclusive 14 field. That was damaging for the sport.
Yeah.
I thought 8 would be good. They went to 12, and I didn't think I'd like it, and I love it. I think the 12 team works. But I think if you expand beyond that, you've gone too far. So people are like, oh, you wanted expansion. Yes, to a certain point, but there is a certain number that I think works. And I think even 16 starts to get away from people say, oh, eliminate the buys. It's like, well, if you eliminate the buys, you're probably going to have to eliminate conference championship games. And people, that might sound good in theory, but I don't think people will actually like the result once you get to that. Play for something at the end of the year. Play for that, that extra week off and the seeding that comes with it, the advantage in the tournament. You have to make it different from, finishing first in your conference from, finishing third and getting it at large or something like that. Otherwise, are you going to start resting your starters at the end of the year if you're in? I think that's a problem you maybe start to face, and people just look at the tournaments as the only thing that matters in the sport at that point.
Yeah, that's a great point. You start planning ahead, and guys are just gonna hold off half the team here. We're gonna let them kind of chill out.
It's what the NFL does.
Yeah.
Right. And if you have no bye week there for one of the top teams, and you go, well, we have to be at our absolute best going into this tournament, and the way to do that is to rest people at the end of the year. People will go to the competitive advantage that they can get. Like, that is the natural conclusion of this whole thing. And what I would hate to see is the end of the college football season become like week 18 of the NFL.
Yeah.
Where one game matters.
Yeah.
Right? And everybody else sits their starters, and it's like, oh, the Browns beat the Bills in this game. It's like, well, yeah, they're the only ones trying in this game. Like I don't think it would get that direction because it is rivalry games, and Auburn and Alabama aren't resting their starters against each other. But I also don't think you want to put that incentive out there that it might be beneficial for anybody to rest their starters in any college game. You should want to win every single game. And I don't think they're setting up a system where that becomes the incentive, and people will take that if it's there for them.
Wayne makes the point in chat that we complain about all this, yet the fans will all watch and fill the stadiums. On campus, they would. Well, if there's a first round of on-campus games, I would agree with that. I don't know if the stadiums would be full otherwise. Well, maybe he's right. Maybe he's right. What do you think?
If they go to 24?
Yeah.
I think they would. I think they would sell out those games. I think they would, because they would treat it like a big deal.
Like it's a big deal, yeah.
I don't think that means it's a good reason. And yeah, selling out the games is fine, and that's one thing. But what is the TV number going to be? And people will watch. But I don't think the TV networks want to. They're not sitting there clamoring for these games because they understand this is like fake playoff. And I think you've seen it in some of the professional sports.
No, yeah.
Sort of, gussing up these first couple rounds to make it seem like they're important. And I look at the NBA especially.
Ugh.
And they've done this whole thing with the play-in game. And I thought it would be cool when they were announcing it and seeing it in practice. I just don't think it matters. They've got too many teams in the NBA playoffs as it is. These 7th and 8th spots never go anywhere once they get into the bracket. I mean, we're taking non-playoff teams and acting like they're legitimate playoff teams. And they get swept 8-4-0 in the first round by these actually really good teams. It's just a whole bunch of preamble to get to the same conclusion. So that's why I don't understand why people think, wow, if we put the 24th ranked team in a bracket for the tournament, it makes it more exciting. No, it just means that even if they get by that first game, they're going to get just run off the field by the 1 seed. It's not going to be close.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you. Hey, Hoosier Dave. Hey, can you ask Andy, does he think that my Hoosiers will be able to maintain the kind of success they had nationally last year? Obviously, just a magical year for us all. Kurt Signetti. What do you think? You think Indiana's going to fade back some now? Can they possibly be that team going forward consistently with the competition in that league? What do you think?
Well, they were what last year? 15-0?
Yeah.
I think there's going to be some natural regression from 15-0. That doesn't mean I think they're all of a sudden going to be the worst team in college football again. But I think with Signetti is a great coach. He understands the portal. He has a little bit more resources now that they've won. I think they could get some better players in there to get to that level again. I mean, even Alabama doesn't follow up 15-0 seasons with more 15-0 seasons. Like maybe Saban at his height when he had such a massive recruiting advantage over everybody else, and that those rosters were just loaded. But it's really tough to do. And you look at a couple of the 50-50 games that they won last year. Every time you go into a do or die situation against Penn State, are you going to make that catch in the end zone? That's the difference between being national champions and, not getting there. So I think they will regress to the mean a little bit this year, but I don't think they're falling off the face of the earth by any means. I think they'll be a Big Ten contender. I think they'll be a playoff contender again because they've set up that program to be a pretty strong program.
Yeah, agreed. I had a couple questions about Notre Dame, so I'll just ask you. So there was a lot on X yesterday about the relationship between Notre Dame and the ACC and all that. What is your overall take on how the ACC, they're utilizing and helping them make schedules in all their other sports, but they don't get a commitment to join full time? Do you understand that from both sides? I guess is what the question is from the people.
Do I understand the agreement or the
like Notre Dame?
I think. Yeah. I understand it. Notre Dame needs a home for all these sports, and the ACC needs to sell out their stadiums every now and then in football. And Notre Dame provides that. They provide value to this ACC thing. And anybody who disagrees, just ask an AD about the ticket prices whenever Notre Dame comes to your stadium. It is a boon to your ticket sales, and it's a premier game that you can put on your package for that year, and you don't really have to think twice about it. So there's always the sniping that goes back and forth when it comes to Notre Dame. Last year was really fun because Notre Dame, they were being such babies about not making the tournament that it was just like, all right, it's open season, boys. Let's take aim at the Irish here. But no, I think when you step back overall, look at the agreement, it's been mutually beneficial. And I don't know how anybody could deny that. Has it run its course? Maybe. I think it loses the luster a little bit when you've been to Notre Dame once or twice. Like it's the coolest thing ever the first time you go there.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, this is like Rudy and the Gipper and all this stuff, the Golden Dome. Second time was also very cool. And I think I will love it third, fourth, fifth time that I go up there if they have a chance. Maybe the fan experience is lost a little bit. Maybe watch it on TV. It's not as cool once you get into it a little bit. But I think it's still beneficial for both parties. And as fractious as that might have been last year when the ACC is stumping for its actual team, Miami, over its not actual team, Notre Dame, I think you can still work through it. I mean, Notre Dame's still going to need to put its team somewhere. And the ACC still has a pretty bad TV deal that it has to enhance in any way it can. So this still seems like a marriage that is worthwhile, even though it's strange sometimes.
All right, finally, AB, one more from Brad. Says, hey, tell Andy I love his work on Tech Sideline. Thanks, Brad. Do you think there'll be any momentum toward moving the bowl schedule to the beginning of the season? I've heard that floated around a lot. You think that's actually going to happen?
I never understand why that is a thing. I just don't get it. The bowl season, and everybody always looks at it in terms of a competitive standpoint for teams. Like you sort of have some of those. They have these neutral site games that they set up in place.
Yep.
Just keep that in place. Just keep doing that. The bowl season to me is more of a reward for fans at the end of the year to go somewhere. Maybe they need to pick some better destinations than some of these bowl games that they're doing. It's like, I know Detroit is finally done with its bowl game, but I never really understood the obsession with going to Detroit in late December. Pick someplace tropical somewhere. Who's traveling somewhere in late August? Like school's in session. That for me, that's when work starts because that's when it happens. School's just starting for these college players. Like it's a very weird time to take off for a week or expect fans to go somewhere for a couple days. It's August, so I don't think it's as appealing to go to a place like Florida to play these games. Oh, let's go to Florida where it's sweltering and in hurricane season about to start. Like that just seems like a bad idea for setting it up. So I like it the way it is. I don't think it needs to extend until late January or however long they're doing these playoff things. But they need TV inventory in December because people are bored and want to watch bowl games. I think there still should be some sort of like reward for fans at the end of the season. Go someplace cool, watch your team at the end of the year. And perhaps people just need to get over the fact that players are going to opt out. It's not going to be the same team that you saw all year. Don't treat it as life and death if you win or lose this game. It's just an exhibition at the end of the year, and go see your team play one more time.
And coaches seem to value the extra practice time, right? Then they do the actual game. They always tell you that's very important to help develop the next season. What we do in those 2 weeks or however long it is before our bowl game.
That's the standard line.
Yeah.
We'll see if they actually believe that in practice. But
right.
It is a good opportunity for some of those young guys to actually get on the field and feel like they're actually practicing and playing for once.
Right. Hey, what do you got coming up, man? What do you got coming up on the sideline? What you guys got?
I did something on Warren Ruggiero yesterday. We also talked to Danny Rocco, and his son David Rocco, who's the assistant tight ends coach, and probably write that next week. I think he's the senior defensive analyst for offense is his role. Danny Rocco he gave up the head coaching job at VMI to do that. And why would you do that? It's like, well, I get to coach with my son. He's got a grandson who's 2 years old. They live 2 houses down now. So there are family reasons. And he just turned 60, I think. So he's like, VMI is a pretty tough job to keep going up there. So I think just the whole situation was better for him. Really interesting talking to a family that obviously knows quite a lot about football.
Oh, very cool. Well, we look forward to that. All right, man. And we always look forward to you. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Have a good weekend this weekend, and we'll look forward to the piece.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, brother. Be good, man. Take care, AB. Good stuff. Good stuff as always. Andy Bitter from Tech Sideline. What's up, Christopher Lester? What's up, my friend? Good to have you as always. C. Lest. I'm not sure about Alex Square. I should have reached out last night. I remember this morning. Oh, yeah, they're traveling. I'll send him an invite and see if he can join us here. Big weekend for Radford baseball. They try to secure a Big South berth. Yeah, the bowls at the end of the year. You know what it's going to come down to? What's it always come down to, everybody? Money. If sponsors start pulling out because attendance and TV ratings drop because of opt-outs, because, hey, you're not in the playoff, why do we care to watch your bowl? That's what will determine it. If they figure out some way that moving the bowls to the beginning of the year is somehow going to create this extra revenue, then that's what's going to happen. Follow the greenbacks road. All right? That's what it's all about. Money's the root of all evil, and we're seeing it control every aspect, every decision in our sports. Yeah. Lawson's Mobile Home Supply has been around since 1997. Give James a call, 5403-818011, 300 North Franklin Street, the NRV Super Bowl. They've been here for, 25 years? Yeah, 5403-825525. Reserve your lanes today. Sundown Electric, excellent reputation, long list of satisfied clients, superior craftsmanship, open communication. Reach out to the Smith Brothers down in Elliston. They're outstanding. We're presented every day by Pulaski County Sports Entertainment. We've heard from the two leaders of that group, Jonathan Sweet and Tim Miller. It never stops with those folks. Great stuff. Little River Heating and Air, Charles Lee, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg. Let them take care of all your concerns with your units, 553-2971. The attorney, Ryan Pry. All right, so I got to add this up. Our fan question of the week, trust and estate planning. It has been overwhelming. It's great. We've gotten several more in this morning. We're going with, on the text line in particular, people also DM me. That's fine, 3910788. Your all-time favorite sports movie. And I can't give you a leader right now. It's going to be tight. We'll announce it in the morning. National Bank member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of me and this program. Professional Door Incorporated, Travis Williams, sponsor of our very, very active text line, 3910788. They're right across from New River Community College, residential commercial garage doors, better than everybody. ReadySetFun.com. That is Bob Christ, brother of Dave Christ. CRST11@gmail. Bob Christ, send him an email and ask him more about what he does with a series of text messages helps you and your organization earn more money. Donnie Lynn, by the way, the head coach at Mount St. Mary's, we're going to discuss the extended basketball playoff at 8 o'clock because Dwight has a client this morning, so he'll be back next week. McClellan Chiropractic, Mark Hunley, right off of 155 Walters Drive. Reach out to him. And Family Fencing, sponsor of our studios, 540-282-94. Yep. That's right, Coach Elmo, the greatest game ever played. That's right. I should ask you about that, Coach. Should ask you about that. What's up, Wayne from Ohio? You should legally change your name to From Ohio. I don't want to watch Virginia Tech play Maryland again in a bowl game because coach is leaving and whole team opts out to get beat by 100. The big conferences will give their most profitable teams easier schedules so they represent their conference besides the lower profitable schools. You think, yeah, that might be a thing, right? They start fixing the schedule. Right? What's up, Tebow? Yeah, we talked about that, man. If you think about imagine Georgia coming into Lane Stadium on a Thursday night or on a Saturday at 3:30 on the nationally broadcast game. Who's Tech got this week? Alabama. Oh, yeah, woo. Crazy. Yeah, and that's another reason I'm writing about in the Patriot. Let's be honest. The SEC and the Big Ten want 5, 6, 7 opportunities to get their teams into the new playoff. More money. Look, this isn't deep thinking. And they can throw in anything that they want. They can just put any aspect into it and tell us all these things of why it's good and why it's not. And If they end up voting for it, why? We know why. You know why. More representation, the more money to pay these schools. Big Ten just already had record revenue. 24. Let's be honest. If the, when it, we won't even say if it's happening. When it goes to 24 teams, how many of those spots are going to be eaten up by the SEC and the Big Ten? At least half the field, right? Is it? What do you think? Is it hyperbole to think that 12 of the 24, 6 from each league on the average, is going to get into the tournament, right? Depending on the other rules that they create in place for who makes it. Conference champions will get in. The G5 champion will get in. But then after that, is the ACC or the Big 12 going to provide enough depth to take 4 teams like Andy just talked about? What do you think? I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. Yeah, the conference championship games are just about by the wayside. 100%. Writing is definitely on the wall. So Donnie Lynn joins us coming up here. Great stuff from Coach Elmo and Andy Bitter. There's that gentleman, Alex Ware, joining us, head baseball coach, Radford University, on the road again. What's up, brother? Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Rick. How are you?
I'm good, man.
Bit shaky down.
Yeah, that's all right. No, you look great. You look great. How was the trip, man? How was that's the long one, man, every year.
It was easy. Yeah, easy trip. Got in 4:00 yesterday. Had a good practice. And ready to go today.
All right. Finishing up the season, man. Let's go back to last weekend. And, you talked about the emotions of that senior day, and it was very well done. And you could kind of see it all kind of pouring out there on the field. That one felt a little different, didn't it? Like you were talking about senior day last Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, you think you start out with Ben Keefe, the OG, been there since day one for Christian and I, and watching him walk down, just thinking about the journey that he's been on. And obviously Ben's done a lot for this program. I know he hasn't had the success or the amount of appearances he would have liked to have had this year, but he's poured everything into our program and been a big piece of our rebuild and helping set the culture of and standard of what we want. And then Hunter's it's been well documented about how I feel about him, both on and off the field. He's going to be surely missed here. Very similar to like a James Ward in this program.
Yeah.
A presence amongst the guys in the locker room that is going to be missed for sure. When the Whitakers came down, Brady's mom was saying next year's going to be the first time that you're not going to have a senior day without a Whitaker. They've been Zach did 2 of them. Shoot, Brady did 2 of them. We may just have him come down next year. If it just means passing out the roses or
have him on the field somehow. Yeah.
Just have him on the field, right? It's almost become a tradition of having a Whitaker on senior day. But man, another great story for Brady. Just such a special kid. He's helped us win so many games, and again, another guy whose role has changed a little bit towards the end of each of the last couple of years, but he's been a tremendous player in person for our team.
Great guy, great kid, great.
And Millie and DQ, 2 guys that have come in and helped us on the pitching staff, both on and off the field. 2 guys that are great teammates, and they poured everything into our program, into their teammates. So, yeah, it's a special group. Obviously would have liked to have played a lot better for the 72 hours of senior day or of senior weekend.
Yeah.
Excuse me, to be frank, but definitely a special group that not only our staff but our players are going to miss tremendously.
Well, along those lines, what was the verb in practice this week? What was your message? Team still has a little bit of work to do to get an attorney now, but what was some of the things that came out of that weekend that you wanted to kind of make sure your guys were ready to go ahead and tackle this first game here tonight?
There's two things. I think number one, we have to be totally present for every single pitch. We watched film on Tuesday morning, and you can go a lot of different ways with that thing, right? It can be an emotional venting session as a coach, and it can become just a therapeutic regurgitation of just hot air, or you can be productive and remind these guys that they're a really good team and we can still accomplish all of our goals. Everything's in front of us. We control our own destiny.
Yep.
We just got to focus on us. I felt like this past weekend there was a lot of anxiousness for whatever reason. Almost as if there was such an expectation to win and to get into the tournament, which is not a goal, just so everyone knows. Like, getting into the conference tournament is not a goal for our program. Like,
right.
It's an expectation. It's never been
sure.
like, oh, let's get to the conference tournament. Like, no,
right.
Like our goal is to win the Big South. And in order for us to do that, like, it's the prereq is obviously you have to be in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like there was this message all week of like, let's go win one to get into the tournament. So I for whatever reason, the execution piece just was not there. But when there is an expectation to where on paper you feel like you're better than an opponent, and then you get down. What I've come to see is that there's every inning was almost like the bottom of the ninth offensively, as opposed to just playing. You saw,
yeah.
You saw guys expanding out of the strike zone. You saw chasing. You saw over swinging. I mean, shoot, like however many double plays we must have hit into. We were outplayed. We were out-toughed. We were out-coached, quite frankly. And that's frustrating. That's a hard thing to deal with. But we all have the responsibility. We all have to look in the mirror and do better. To be frank with you, do better. But I would say 100% when we left the meeting, we watched a lot of the poor executed plays or pitches, and we watched a lot of the really good things that we did and that we have done to remind them that, like, guys, it's in there.
Yeah.
All these things are controllable and all these things are fixable.
I like that.
But the biggest thing that I want to make sure for us going into this weekend is two things. Number one, that we're playing every pitch, one pitch at a time. And we're just, whatever the game is asking out of us, we're going to go execute and not try and do too much. Whatever the situation is, we go out and do it. And secondly, to be the toughest team on the field. Those two things. I want to see the tough competitive team that we have, and I want us to play one pitch at a time and be totally present in that moment. So that was the message. I hope we go out there and execute that.
I like that a lot. It's so important not to just beat them down. And you guys, you didn't do this. You what are you doing? Come on. What are you ever going to be good? I like the fact you balance that out. That's so important, isn't it? I think it reminds them, yeah, we'll be fine. We know what we can do. Come on, guys. Let's just go.
It is important. It is important. But I do think there has to be some self-reflection.
Sure.
And there's got to be some evaluation of what you're doing poorly. Meaning, like, you know what? You guys got to watch the crap tape. You got to watch it. Like, what is this? You're in a 3-1 count. You get a fastball middle, and you either take it, fillet it, which is a oppo pop-up.
Yeah.
Right? You roll over because you're taking too big of a swing. you're 0-2 and we're chasing balls up above our head. You know, when Hunter chased those 2 pitches over his head after Sonny grounded a double play, I don't want this to sound poorly, but I know it was like the 3rd inning. But for whatever reason, I had that feeling of like, we need to settle down. That's not a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
I've coached in enough games to know that there are certain things that happen that you're just like, ooh, I don't like what that looks like at all. That is very uncharacteristic. And when you have a kid I've seen him take 700 plate appearances, and I've seen him do that less than 5 times as far as sorting himself on a ball that's up and in off of a kid that throws 86. That's not normal.
Yeah.
So to me, it was like guys were trying to, like Hunter was trying to make up for what had happened in Sonny's previous at bat. Can't do that. Can't do that. But you got to look at the tape. You got to evaluate it. You got to understand, and you got to take a mental note. Like, oh, okay, like that is not good enough. Like I can't do that. I've got to be better. Is that a mechanical thing? Do I need to get more reps, or is this a mental mindset? Trying to do too much, coming out of our approach, and that's what's a lot. Look, we're on game 50 here, boys. Like,
yeah,
you're hurt, you're sore, you're tired, etc., etc., etc. Like, we don't need to revamp your whole swing here, right? Like, our lineup's our lineup at this point. I believe all 9 of them are pretty close to hitting over 300 or towing around that mark.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't need to have a dissertation about your swing path and your load and all this things. Like, no. Like, you get in a plus count, get a good pitch, get your best swing off. Get the 2 strikes. You shouldn't be snap hooking balls to the pull side dugout. When you get an opportunity to situationally hit, do it. Like, you know what to do. Move the ball. We're striking out less than 15% of the time as a team. Like, you guys can execute with 2 strikes. You guys know what to do. Go do it. So I think that's the challenge, and I think they respond to challenges, which is a good thing.
Yeah,
but also reminding them that, hey man, like, you guys have done this before, and that's what they left the meeting with. So I think we all got what we needed out of that. I got some therapeutic things off of my chest. We watched some of the poor play, and then we reminded them of that there's a lot of good baseball in that locker room.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, take us through the opponent. What does Charleston Southern do best? I know they've been scoring a lot of runs recently. They have a pretty good lineup. What is it when you watch them on tape? What do you see? What pops out?
Yeah, offensively, I think they do an excellent job. They've got a lot of action going on. They don't strike out. They get on base. They're on base at almost a 430, 440 clip as a team.
Wow.
They've got guys up and down the lineup that they just have really good at-bats. They don't strike out. A lot of hit and runs. They've got a ton of stolen base attempts. They play quality defense. They situationally hit. They're relentless. Like, they do a really good job. They use the whole field. They don't take big, giant swings. They've got a couple of guys in there that are going to run the ball to the park. But they do a nice job. They do really, really, in my opinion, I think they're probably the best team offense in watching their tape of anybody in the league. I think there's maybe a little bit more thump or some areas where other teams can kind of get you with one swing or but I don't think they have many dead spots in their lineup, to tell you the truth. I think that they're quality offense for sure. I think that's their strength. Pitching wise, they got a handful of guys that have thrown a bunch of innings for them and have had some appearances, and and have some different looks out of the bullpen. I don't know entirely what they're doing from a starting pitching rotation. I haven't gotten that whole rotation for the week. I know, pretty sure the Titus kid is going to throw today, and then with the weeks just it being
it makes sense.
Schedule is a little bit different. So, well, yeah, I think the biggest challenge for us offensively, or for us from a pitching standpoint, is we cannot give them free bases. We cannot walk them. We have to make them earn everything. They will thrive on the walk. They will thrive on the hit by pitch. They will thrive on the error. So we've got to really do a good job of protecting the ball, and we've got to do a really good job of not giving them anything and making them earn everything that they get. Because if they get base runners, they get traffic. Next thing you know, they do hit and run. They do double steal, a fake bunt, double steal. They bunt a bunch. Got to defend the bunt at a high level. And then when we have opportunities to strike them out, like we got to really execute. I give those guys a lot of credit. They do a really good job.
Well, you have to alter. You mentioned it's tough. You have to go into the final weekend and everything's moved up a day. You have to get how much consideration you guys have to take with your own staff, right? I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy.
Well, to tell you the truth, I think going into the weekend, last weekend, there was a plan for both scenarios.
Yeah.
To be frank, I didn't think we'd be going in last weekend having to win a game to get in the tournament. I think I felt like we would have already kind of been at that point, and then we would have altered some things. But now at this point, we're going to go Raymond, Thieves, and then the only thing we'll do differently is we'll TBD Saturday. Because if we need to use DQ either tonight or tomorrow, then we'll do that.
Sure. Makes perfect sense. Yeah. Well, man, listen, good luck this weekend. We'll be pulling like hell for you guys. Get one done, and then you can kind of adjust as you need going forward and start thinking about the next week. Yeah, absolutely.
That's right. That's the plan.
Well, man, thanks. I appreciate you hopping on the road, man. I appreciate it a bunch.
Thanks, Rick. No problem, buddy.
All right, brother. Stay care, AJ. Be safe.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, guys.
Right. Good stuff. Alex Ware, head baseball coach at Bradford University. Joined us from Charleston, South Carolina. Yeah, on the road. Good stuff. I like that. TBD, right? They just need to get one, by the way. People are asking me here on the text line. So they get one win. Gardner-Webb loses one game. Either one of those scenarios. I like that, Wayne. Wayne from Ohio. If you were an athlete, like if you were a football player and that came across the screen, or if they got the roster, who's Wayne from Ohio? Wayne from Ohio. The from Ohio family. Oh, by the way, y'all were asking, so come here, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, there he is. He has made his appearance. He has shown up. He sees the sun out, and then he understands it's cold out. Balboa Creed, named after the greatest two fictional fighters in the history of film. The man has made his Thursday appearance. There you go. Imagine somebody throwing this guy on the side of the road and leaving him for dead. Imagine who in the world would do that, huh? Can you hear him purring? Listen. Hey, buddy. Been a while since Balboa Creed made an appearance. Donnie Lynn going to join us coming up. Dwight Vick's got a client this morning. He sends his apologies, but he'll be back with us next week. And, of course, what Dwight does is very, very important. So DV back with us next week. Thanks to AG for joining us. Wayne from Ohio. Thanks for all the text questions, by the way. Appreciate that. Text line's popping today, brought to you by Professional Door. Expand the number of teams, fix the schedules, expand the conferences, get rid of conference championship. Yep. The writing is indeed on the wall. And come on, it's all about revenue. You can make all the common sense arguments you want against the 24. Follow the money, and that's what's going to happen. We're going to continue this conversation on the basketball side of things with Donnie Lynn, the head basketball coach at Mount St. Mary's, coming up. I'm going to write about it this week in the Patriot. Is more, we're sports fans, and Wayne is undoubtedly correct. I mean, I won't consider it must-see TV, but when they do expand to 24, right? Hook 'em horns. When they do expand to 24, and when it will, not if, it will, we all will come home. No, but he goes to Cougar Land, but hook 'em horns. Gotcha. That's okay. That's okay. Welcome, subscribe, like, and share the channel. I mean, we'll come home and we'll see, this game's on between the number, I don't know how it's going to look. Here's the number 7 seed versus the number 16 seed. And we're not going to be like, yeah. But we will go, hey, it's a football game. It's a playoff game. Thanks, man. Thanks, Turdfer. Appreciate that, man. But we will watch. We don't expect it to be mind-blowing contest all the time, but we'll watch. It's football. It's America's pastime. It's games with more meaning. Because it's the postseason. We will watch. And that's going to go right into the negotiations. If you're thinking about when they just added 8 teams to the college basketball tournament, and they're saying about $350 million, they're already estimating is going to be raised just for 4 more games. Imagine what doubling the college football playoff is going to look like in subsequent years of TV contract negotiations. And it's amazing how all this is coming to fruition. And I'm going to give myself an attaboy because I talked about this a lot in the 2000s, first run of the radio show. Had arguments about it, not anything heated, but with Jim Weaver, who had a weekly spot on the show. Imagine the AD coming on and being accessible like that. The BCS. It was all about the BCS. And I remember asking Jim, and I had a lot of respect. I really liked Jim Weaver. I really did. And he was really, really good at his job. He made some mistakes. Everybody does, but he was really good for Virginia Tech athletics. I remember looking at him I can remember, you just sit there and remember that it was an afternoon. It was a sunny afternoon. We were sitting there. It was in the summer. He was back from vacation. And I said, Jim, why is everyone just leaving all these extra dollars off the table? You're 4 teams. You're making a computer pick 'em. If you had the FCS, we talked about it. It was 1AA. It wasn't called the FCS. They play a 16-team tournament. They make it work. Imagine all the money that could be raised with tickets and television. I remember bringing all these things up, and that's exactly what we're seeing happen now. Every bit of what we're seeing happen is completely and utterly driven by the opportunity to make more money because pay for play has risen to not only the it's going to continue to rise. It's going to continue. The cost of it's going to continue to be there. But there's now just this massive acceptance of it that it's not going away anytime soon is the message I get out of this. The message I get out of this is it will not be going away anytime soon. And they know there's nothing they can do about to change it. It's just going to keep going up in cost for the foreseeable future. So what's one way we can go and find what is relatively an easy revenue stream that we control, that we're not asking our donors, our boosters, more, or our sponsors, our business sponsors, we need more, right? We can create a 2014 playoff, and we can be very sturdy about these negotiations, and we're going to tell Disney to get bent. We're going to go wherever the more money is going to be offered, and we need to figure out a way to pay these athletes and maybe even supplement our other sports that are struggling that we may be in danger of having to drop. This is going to be an immediate cash infusion into these conferences. Now, how they spend it and how they distribute it, who knows? But if you're looking at an 8-team edition in the college basketball tournament being estimated to bring $350 million more in revenue, this thing's going to create billions on the football side. Billions with a B, right? How could it not? I'm not sitting here saying it's good for the sport. We've been down that road. But to Wayne's point, Andy said the same thing. They're going to sell the games out. They're going to market it around it. Businesses will buy into these games, sponsor them, promote them, do things around where the games are going to be played. Mega corporations are going to be part of this whole thing. College football is by far the second most watched sport on television after the NFL. That's exactly what's going to happen. But it is what it is, as they say. So Dwight Bick back with us next week. Joining us now on the program is the head basketball coach at Mount St. Mary's. What is going on? It's been too long since we talked to Coach Lynn. What's up, brother?
Hey, Rick. How we doing?
Hanging in there, man. How are you on a Thursday?
Oh, we're good. We're good. Just got graduation this weekend, so
yeah,
it's still a thing here in college athletics. So we're pushing toward that.
Really?
Yeah. Former Radford Highlander Xavier Lipscomb get his 3rd degree from the Mount on Saturday. So that's nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and so finishing up finals and pushing toward that, and wrapping up recruiting, and rolling along.
I was going to ask you, how's the roster construction going? Are you about to finalize that thing now? Get it done?
We're close. We got. I'm going to a visit breakfast after this, and hopefully we can wrap it up here. Ideally before Memorial Day, but I'm not holding my breath.
Well, good luck with that and everything else. I wanted to get right into it. Of course, we're going to 76 teams. I want to get your thought on all that. And we know what it's for, right? It's for more dollars to be coming in. They're saying about $350 million will likely be created just next year alone. So what's your thought on it? Does it water it down too much, or is 4 games that big a deal?
I mean, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I think it's I would love to say that, adding in, 8 more at-large teams is going to help the little guy or the mid-major a little bit. I don't know how much it will. But if we get 1 or 2 more that have a chance at that spot, I think it's good. Obviously being a part of that run at VCU where we started in the play-in and made it all the way to the Final Four, I think that will still be possible from those 11, 12, 13, whatever the seed ends up being of those, whatever they call it, opening round games. Now, I think that certainly giving an opportunity to more deserving teams is great. I don't know how many of those teams everyone, if you polled the country, will say is deserving. But if we can get more deserving teams in the tournament, that's great. As a head coach of a team that's going to be in the opening round, if we win, barring a 30-2 season, if you are in a low major league, you're going to play in the play-in. And I think it's a great opportunity at this level. I think those games, to play a 50-50 NCAA tournament game is a great opportunity for your program. It's a great opportunity for your league. And so, I think there's a lot of value in that. The St. Peter's, in our league, who was a 15 seed and makes it to the Elite Eight, I think that's going to be a lot tougher. I don't think you're going to see that. But that's a one-time, it's happened once. I think there's been one 15 seed or 16 that's made it to the Sweet 16 ever, maybe two. So it's not exactly like we're going to be eliminating that from the tournament. That was something that we banked on having often. But I do think it's going to be a lot harder. It's going to be a lot harder for a automatic qualifier from a low major league to make a round of 32, right? To win as a 15 seed, or a 14, what would have been the worst of the 14 seeds, to make it now to the round of 32 is going to be tougher because you're playing, you got to play that extra game. But I do think for leagues like ours, the opportunity to play a game like that where you can win, you can earn another unit for your league. I think there's a lot of value in that. And I do think that if that money's managed right, it can help the league in the long term.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think what you said too is, I think the biggest misnomer is this is going to open up this mid-major trough of opportunities. And I know that's the way they're trying to, hey, watch out. Maybe the higher end one or two, but it's not. It's going to be strictly for the power leagues. That's what this is for. So,
I mean, it is. And the way the net is, and what they can do at that level to manipulate their strength of schedule and their scheduling practices, they have a better opportunity of a team that can't win a significant amount of games in their conference, in a power conference, will still have an opportunity to make the NCAA tournament. And listen, outside of BCS football, and if you count bowl games, but outside of BCS football, the men's basketball tournament was the least possible, like the least representative of all sports, right? As far as the amount of teams there are and how many actually have a chance to win a championship. In most sports, it's closer to 25 or 30% of the teams make the championship tournament. And so now it does align us more with that. And so that's something that I do think gives it more of a benefit to student athlete. There are more student athletes that are going to get a chance to participate in March Madness, which is awesome. There's nothing better for a student athlete to have that in men's basketball and women's basketball, to have that experience, even if it's in a play-in, a opening round, whatever you want to call it, type of environment. We've been there, Rick. It's still it's a lot of fun. It's a great experience. Those kids get an experience they're not going to forget, and get to be a part of something that's super special, and they'll have that forever.
And it's not going to affect, people ask, how's it going to affect the Radfords of the world? It's not. It's going to be the same thing. It's going to be you still have to win your tournament to have a shot to play in those early rounds, right? It's not going to add, maybe if we play it close, they might pick us instead. No.
I mean, again, if you have Miami of Ohio type year from last year, right? If Radford this year goes, runs the table and goes into the Big South tournament and they're undefeated, or they have one loss and it's not a bad one, and they lose to a high major team that they played, then you know what, they might have a shot, right? And then they lose in the finals of the Big South tournament, right? But again, those type of seasons are few and far between for us mid-major teams, us low major teams. It's just there's just not those are unlikely scenarios. There's a lot of the idea of, well, maybe we can get the regular season champion and the tournament champion into the tournament at this level. That'd be great, right? Like that idea of expanding it and also giving regular season champions an automatic bid. That'd be great. But I understand that that's not the goal of this expansion. Hopefully with this expansion, maybe we can get that back to the NIT. I'm hopeful. They haven't announced how this is going to affect the NIT yet. I'm hopeful that we will get regular season champions back to the NIT. I think that'd be a big boost to a lot of schools, that aren't in the Power Four.
does this end all those other extra tournaments? I mean, like the CBI didn't have a tournament this year. They created that one in Vegas. I guess that one will remain. I don't know. I don't know what their plans are.
Yeah, I can imagine that that's the only one. But I mean, that was picking off those 8 high major teams and putting them in a tournament. So I don't know if there's still a market for that or not. I think maybe we get back to just the NCAA and the NIT for a little while. I know we had great run there in the CBI right before I got to Radford, and that was a great opportunity and great experience. But now with the way revenue and costs are being passed around the department, it's a little bit harder for me as a coach to walk into my boss's office and say, "Hey, we need to go play in this tournament," or can I use that money toward next year's roster?
Yeah, we're going to have to go play in the second round of the CIT in Pullman, Washington. We only need about, $50,000. Come on, can we go do that? Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get a really good player for that these days.
I was going to say, right. Exactly. Yeah, well, it was inevitable, I guess. They kept talking about it a year ahead of time. And where do you think it ends? It's not going to end at 76. They're going to let it happen probably couple years, and then they're going to be like, okay, well, this is working. Where do we go next? To 90?
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think's the next number?
I don't know how the math works out, but I don't think you go. You can't go 128. That doesn't make sense. That's not indicative of a selection of the field. I don't know. I'd like to see how this feels, how this looks. And then the media rights obviously play a big part of it too. The NCAA and the Turner CBS, whenever that comes up again, I imagine that'll be the next time that they take a serious look at what the tournament looks like and who it's for. The big thing at our level, Rick, is, we fight our commissioner and the commissioners of the leagues like ours. We fight to make sure we have an automatic qualifier, right? That it doesn't just become a BCS, college football playoff type of a system where we're just going to pick the 76 best teams, as determined by a poll, as opposed to, we're going to still give the automatic qualifier to every conference. And, that is the elephant in the room that, a lot of administrators and coaches at the lower level of Division I are worried about with, the new changing of the guard here in college athletics.
Well, that's a good point. I hadn't thought about it, but you're right. I hope that, man, it's such a draw to the tournament, right? It's such a big factor with what we've done at our levels over the years and that opportunity. It represents America, right? The small guy getting a shot to do something. Man, that would be bad if they end up going there.
Well, and the really bad part is, I think a lot of most of these leagues cease to be Division I, right? If you don't have that NCAA tournament unit coming in every year, the most of these leagues disband, and the most schools won't be able to be Division I anymore. And then, it just really changes the universities. It changes who you can draw in as students, and it's a big deal. So, yeah, hopefully that's me being a little doom and gloom, too much doom and gloom today on a Thursday morning. It's not usually me, Rick. I'm usually
I know
pretty optimistic, but that's in the back of everybody's mind, I think, a little bit at this level.
Oh, I feel like there'd be massive backlash, though, right? Or in the end of the day, does it matter? Do they care? I mean,
I think both of those things are true. I think there would be massive backlash, and do they care? I don't know.
With questions we all want to know, but none of us really have the answer to. Yeah. Well, I hope that doesn't happen, man. People are already upset. We talked about it here, and I've seen some articles about it too. The whole bracketology thing. So many people get involved in the tournament. There's fans that don't follow college basketball just because it's March Madness. Hey, can't wait to do a bracket. Who's playing?
Right.
And now they got to maybe do it 2 days earlier, or who knows?
Yeah.
It's going to be all that too.
Right.
So.
Or how do you pick those games if it's still Thursday? Do you have to wait till Wednesday night and then you rush it, do it on Thursday? And yeah, it'll be interesting for sure. And there'll be a team next year, I'm sure, that is a play-in 11 or 12 seed that goes on a deep run, and it'll work for us, and it'll work again, and it'll, for a lot of people, it'll validate this way of doing it, of adding they said the same thing when we went to 68. It added those playing games in Dayton for the 12 seeds. And, then a couple of us had some success, and now it's, become normal.
And aesthetically, it doesn't look very different, does it? It just looks like now we have 2 full days of first 4 games as opposed to,
which I mean is not bad, right?
No,
we'll be tuned. Hopefully we're playing, but the other day we'll be tuned in. Those are, those games will be fun. It'll be 2 sites. You'll get, like you said, you'll get full days, probably 3 o'clock, 2 games around 5 and 2 games in the evening. And then maybe 1 West Coast late night game, but that'll be fun to get, and again, what should be competitive matchups. You should get, you're not going to get a 16-1 game. You're going to get through 6 games each day of teams that are pretty evenly matched, which again is great for the NCAA, is great for college basketball. It's great for those teams to get that opportunity. So there's a lot of positive to it, And again, hopefully we're playing, and I'll give you a firsthand update by the time we get to this time next year.
Well, yeah, I just, I know it'd be great. Yeah, if you're playing in it, we could. Hey, this is great. We were able to play the early game. Now we just get to chill out and see who we're playing tomorrow. That's just watch whatever's going to happen. In Dayton, if it stays in Dayton, they would embrace that and be great hosts, wouldn't they?
Sounds like it. There'll be one in Dayton, and they're going to do one west of the Mississippi, and try to regionalize the travel a little bit for that to make it a little smoother with that many teams and all that.
Well, so after you get the roster done, hopefully lunch goes well, the brunch goes well today or whatever. Maybe they're watching the show. Hey, you know what? That was the tip over BDST. No. How you going to go about, take us through again, once you get the roster now, remind people what coaches across the country have to do to get everybody on the board here.
No doubt. Well, like the rest of the world, when we get this roster done, there's going to be a couple weeks of okay, finally, and maybe get away a little bit, maybe hit a golf ball a couple times. Hopefully we get a little opportunity to do some things like that. And then mid-June, we start summer school. So hopefully we'll have 2 or 3 weeks that are pretty quiet as we prepare for summer school, as we prepare for what we're going to do in workouts and starting to get team building stuff together, but pretty quiet. And then we'll have summer access, which is 8 weeks with the guys. Every coach handles that very differently. Some coaches jump right into, we're going to start team practice. Actually, honestly, the majority of coaches do. I think it's a little too much too soon. With all these new guys, I think it's more important to focus on team building, to focus on some individual skill and evaluation and assessment, and then development of the players as we start to figure out how we're going to play and tweaks to the system that fit the personnel better and stuff like that. So that's June and July. Then we got summer camp for little kids and all that. 2 weeks of camp, which will be a lot of fun. Any of our local listeners, they want to come up to camp, they're more than welcome.
Absolutely.
It's a short jump up I-81 to come to camp, and then we prepare for the school year. And so the summer goes quick. We got recruiting. There's 4 weeks of high school recruiting, which we still believe in here at Mount St. Mary's. We will get out and see some high school prospects in June and July. Which is fun. It's great to get on the road and get to see more prospects and evaluate kids. And hopefully, we've signed 2 high school kids each of the last 2 years. We're going to do that again this upcoming year. We may end up with 3 this year, depending on how these last couple recruits spots fill up. But so we'll be out there evaluating high school prospects and hopefully being able to sign a couple exciting young guys in the fall.
High school recruiting, you rebel, you.
Nah.
Wow.
Crazy, wow. Isn't it?
Huh. What a concept.
Maybe they'll stay for a couple of years and get better.
Hey, that'd be wow. What? Come on. You've always been a dreamer. It's one of the many things I've respected about you the most. Family good? Everybody good?
We're good. We're good. It's been a good year. So trying at times during the season, but it's been a good year for the family. We got Magnolia's birthday today, actually 15. My daughter turned 15 today.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness
How about that,
gracious!
Rick? I've been
Wow.
going for a while, I guess.
Woo! You have been gone 15.
15. So that's something.
That's something. That's something.
That's
All right.
something. So yeah, things are good with that. We got she just finished up track season, and we got 10U baseball going strong. Couple weeks left of baseball for Cy Guy, and wrap up the school year for them. So yeah, Sierra's doing well. Things are good. Things are good up here in old Frederick, Maryland right now.
Before we let you go, Coach, it's been by far our most popular fan question of the week. We have, I don't know, we might be getting up with 200 answers. Your all-time favorite sports movie, not best sports movie, just your personal. What sports movie are you going to go? You know what? I'm going to watch this every time.
So for me personally, I'm anytime I can, I'm throwing on Caddyshack. It is. I'm a laugher. You know me. I'm pretty silly. It takes me back to a more fun time. But I'm at an age now where I get to watch The Sandlot a lot. I get to watch Remember the Titans quite often in my house. So those two have they've been on loop since they got introduced to my son. So we've watched a lot of Sandlot and Remember the Titans over the last year. But if it's me and I'm on the bus and I can just I want to throw a sports movie on, we're throwing on Caddyshack and just laughing.
I understand. It's a classic. It's a classic. Who's going to win?
What is there an overwhelming favorite?
There's been so many votes since yesterday. I'll tell you the three that I've gotten that looks like the most.
Rocky gets a lot.
Rocky got a lot initially, but Bull Durham has gotten a whole lot. Hoosiers.
Yeah.
And remember the Titans, the program has gotten quite a bit.
Your listenership, we need to introduce your listenership to a couple modern classics, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to my sister lives in Raleigh. We're going to the Durham Bulls over Memorial Day weekend. I can get you, insight into what it's like down there.
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
No minor league baseball for us.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, let us
you still
know.
Call it minor league baseball? Are you still on the air down there?
No, I am not. When the App League lost its baseball affiliation, major league affiliation, I was out. Yeah. It's now.
Is it the college draft or whatever?
It's college players that go there and they're just kind of barnstorming for a few months.
Yeah.
So.
We had that last 2 years in Frederick, and we just got our affiliation back with the Orioles, and it's been really nice this last year. I mean, this season to have that back in town. It's been great.
Yeah. I know how much you love baseball. So there you go. All right. Well, man, thanks for jumping on. We appreciate you as always, and good luck closing out the class, and we'll reconvene.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. All right. Enjoy.
Thanks for having me. We'll talk soon, I'm sure.
All right, brother. Have a good graduation weekend.
Thanks, Rick.
Tell X-Man I said hello, and I'm proud of him.
I will.
Awesome. That's awesome. All right, brother. Take care of yourself.
That's it.
All right, Coach. There you go. Donnie Lynn joining us on the program. Well, Caddyshack. Now, I don't know how many people would put Caddyshack in there. I don't think anybody. Maybe one other. I don't know. I got to look and see. We got a lot, though. A whole lot. I'll look at all that tonight. It'll be fun. Get through with the day, and then you can kind of just go through and make a note. I'll have to make a grid, though. Yeah, I'm going to have to make a chart now. I'm going to have to write the names of the movies and just put a little tick mark. You're making me work for this one. I couldn't tell you, though. I think between the three, I don't know which one of the big three is going to – and it might be somebody snuck in there that I don't even know about yet. But we'll see. Major League has gotten a lot of votes, but I don't think it's a contender for all-time favorite sports movie. Field of Dreams has gotten a lot, too. It's going to be close. But good stuff from Coach Lee. Man, I hope that better not happen, man, where they try to turn this into nothing but a power league in, I guess your major minors, if you will. Or your ultra mid majors. But I don't trust any processes that go on in college athletics. So I could see absolutely that being the mindset. Field of Dreams, yeah, Turd, yeah. Gotten a lot of votes. They did. I'd love to visit the cornfield up there. I'd like to visit the field up in Iowa. Yeah. They did a game there. It was on TV, a couple years ago. Didn't the Yankees play in it? If I'm not mistaken. Pretty sure. I'll let you know, too, the total votes that we had for that as well. Yep. Great atmosphere. Yeah, it was a great atmosphere there at the ballpark. But I hope this is not some kind of veiled thing to eventually tell the mid-majors they're no longer welcome. I mean, it's still the NCAA basketball term. College football playoff is not run by the NCAA. It's the CFP. Let's hope we don't have anything that comes into play in something that's supposed to encompass the entire NCAA. Right? And just say, hey, you're not welcome anymore. This is all going to be revenue. Mid-majors have captured, yeah, exactly, Turd. Mid-majors have made the NCAA tournament, let's just say it the way it is, into what it is. If nothing else, it would just be power school tournament, just like their conference tournaments, without the Cinderella stories, without the great individual stories that we see players develop that didn't get their shot at the power leagues or whatever it might be. And they become, for those few weeks or however long their teams are still playing, they become kind of people in legacy. But I'm just afraid. And I believe that what Coach Lynn talked about is more what the mindset is. Remember when this originally came up, people were like, oh, mid-major coaches are all for it. No, they're not. Our league tried to put out something like that. Well, I've talked to like 4 or 5 cents, and they're all like, it's not going to help us any. We can't stop it, but it's not like we're all like, yeah, Big South's going to get 2 bids now. Come on. And it's funny. One coach I talked to said the same thing Coach Lynn said. This was a few weeks ago. So we're kind of just afraid a little bit they're going to try to just whisk us out the door with the broom at this point. Yeah, exactly. We never would have known Steph Curry without Davidson's run. Never. Gordon Hayward. Yeah, we got another Blindside. Yeah, Blindside's gotten a lot of Rocky, Blindside. Rocky's going to fall short of the final 2 or 3, but it's gotten a lot of good work. Appreciate that. And and for me, what's my most memorable thing? I guess Radford when we played up in Dayton and we beat LIU Brooklyn and had to go play Villanova in Pittsburgh. I mean, the whole thing was just a whirlwind of awesomeness. Got our first ever NCAA tournament win. Yeah, George Mason, VCU's run. Loyola, their run. I mean, it's cool. And everybody gets involved because there's so many people who get involved with the tournament who aren't college basketball fans normally. So when they see these schools, they latch on even more just because of their success. Oh, this is great. But I don't ever now assume that anybody's going to make any decision. Nobody's worried about tradition, common sense. opening up your mind on how to look at things. Because it all comes down to we're in an age where we're going to have 50, 60 annual $1 million football rosters at the power level. We're going to have basketball rosters that are going to be over 30 million annually. What's the best way that we can just throw in more money immediately to help offset that, to where we're not always begging people for more money or having to go out and find more sponsors? Let's take something we can control, turn it into the most capitalistic thing we can, and see how many dollars can come out of it. That's what this is all about. And when you see the football playoff in particular get so quickly endorsed by the coaches, it makes a lot of sense when you think about it. Because the coaches are the ones that are dealing with the budgets and the asks of portal players and freshman classes. So coaches live in the world that not many people understand completely, because they're not going out trying to fill their roster every year. So, of course, they're going to be all for, hey, we got to have 10 to 20 more $1 million. What are we doing? You know how many teams told us no? So it makes sense that the coaches would want this to be expedited. And I think you're going to see the 2014 playoff. They're going to time this beautifully when the current TV contracts in a couple of years are getting ready to be renegotiated. And it's going to be the vertebrae, the central nervous system of what those negotiations are going to look like. Absolutely. Absolutely. So enjoy your 12-team field for this year, probably next, maybe not. We're seeing the 76 start next year. And we'll see how it all plays out. Thanks to everybody today. Good stuff as always. Chat, you were booming. Turd, good to meet you. Hang on with us here. We talk a lot of college sports. Appreciate you chiming in. Tell your friends, man. Get them to subscribe. We don't bother you. You'll just get a notification on your phone. Hey, this show's about to start. If you want to watch, fine. If you want to watch later, fine. I subscribe to a lot of channels on YouTube like that. I mean, even if I don't watch it all the time, oh yeah, I'd like to keep up with what they're doing. You know, it helps them and it gives me something I can go to later. We're live every morning during the weekdays from 6 to 8:30 Eastern time, and we're gonna have other stuff. I had a couple big announcements coming up here on the show. But thanks to everybody. Thanks to our sponsors who I've talked about today a whole lot, and thanks to all of our guests. Appreciate that. Yeah, please do, man. You're welcome anytime, Turk. Welcome anytime. Hook 'em horns. Coach Elmo was great. Got us off to a great start. Andy, Alex Square, big weekend here. Radford needs one win to get in. One win. And Donnie Lynn. Tomorrow, finally Friday. I don't know. Jen's going to be in Vegas. It could be crazy. We hope it works. Will Stewart, I believe, Mike Ashley. It's the Finally Friday edition. Anything goes. Thanks, everybody. Subscribe, like, share our content. Off to full-time job I go. We'll see you tomorrow. Be good. Take care. Enjoy. Oh, hi. Enjoy the rest of Thursday. Stay safe.